And welcome back. You hear about timeouts and you automatically think about children. Well, as it turns out, a timeout can help your marriage. Licensed therapist Dr. Bill Baker, he's here to shed light on this whole concept. I know during the break you were telling me you use this technique with couples all the time, so explain it with the rest of us.
Well, I do use it a great deal, Marissa. Our communication could be compared to driving on a highway in that sometimes we encounter situations that pose danger. If we keep on driving at the same rate of speed, we'll probably have a major collision and do damage. So clearly the wise action is to stop the car until the danger is gone. Now, in our relationships, we could get so angry or upset that any additional talking is going to damage the relationship. That's when we need to put the brakes on, an action which is hard for many people. I remember hearing one fella say, "I guess I just don't know when to shut up." So we need a timeout program.
Yeah, I think we're all like that at one time or another. Right. It's always good to cool down first. What are the key components, though, of an effective timeout? Because you want to express how you feel, but you want to do it the right way.
Well, good question. A good timeout begins with defining our purpose. A timeout is never designed to avoid a discussion or to reload our ammunition or to frustrate or punish the other person. Instead, it is to protect the relationship by taking a break in the action. So the second step then would be to develop a plan. Agree upon a clear signal for a timeout, such as the nonverbal T sign or the verbal "timeout please." And the other person automatically responds, "Okay, timeout." The two people go away from each other to different parts of the house in order to calm down for an agreed upon period of time. The person who requested the timeout has to keep up with the time and return to the other one to resume the discussion, perhaps with an apology for some misbehavior or a thank you for the timeout. And the third step in the program is to practice the timeout, particularly when things are going smoothly, so that when they really need it, they'll be skilled enough to use it effectively.
Right. Now, as you went through those steps, sometimes that can be a complicated process for a lot of people, especially for couples with children and things. You know, they have to communicate.
Right.
So at what point are you past the timeout? Is that just something you use in the beginning, or does it continue on?
You mean if the timeout is not long enough?
Not long enough, or you don't have time for a timeout, quite frankly. What do you do in those cases?
Every couple has time for the timeout. Now, they need to make arrangements for child care. And usually the person who requested the timeout may not be the best one to take care of the children. That needs to be part of the plan.
Okay.
Who will be the parent on duty during the agreed upon timeout process? But every couple needs it, and every couple can use it, especially when there's so much anger or upsetness that they're going to do more damage.
Yeah, and I'm guessing too, if a child is watching their parents go at it and one says time out, that could definitely be maybe even a good lesson for children to see that interaction as well.
Children need to see that. It's a good way of preventing some conflict and for resolving conflict. The two people need to reassure each other that the timeout is designed for the purpose of calming down and for safeguarding the relationship. That's why it is so critically important that every couple have and use a workable timeout program.
Okay, so communication is important even for setting up those timeouts on the front end. One more time, Dr. Baker, can you list those 3 steps for our viewers?
Of course. The first is to define the purpose, to be sure why we're taking the timeout, that it is to protect and safeguard the relationship and not to avoid something or to punish or to harm the other person. Develop a plan so we know what the signal is, how long it's to last, and where we're going to go, and so forth.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for coming in today.
Glad to be here.
Well,